I'm Nick Isenhouer.
My name's Chris Isenhouer.
We've taken on the task of trying to complete our Everson Performance F-150 in 68 days to race the Mint 400 in the 6100 class. The truck's never been ran before. It's really far from being done, but we've got a great work ethic. So we're gonna do our best to get this truck to where we need to get it to, and we're gonna film as much of it as possible so you guys can watch it, and hopefully we don't fail.
Should be interesting. I don't think it's gonna work out so well. There we go.
That's why nothing gets done.
Every single night.
So I know the main focus of a lot of this stuff has been this truck so far, trying to get it ready for the Mint, but we also have to prep this one. So it's a whole nother ball game. So we got the truck on the stands. We're gonna go through, we got it all depaneled, and we're gonna go through everything and see what needs to be replaced, and probably just pull the entire rear suspension off, front suspension, hubs, rear end, drive shaft, transmission, everything out of this thing to get it all sent off, get it rebuilt, put it all back together with new hardware, new Heims, new uniballs. So it'll be a brand new truck for the Mint. Pull this guy off, and we'll get, it's just held on by these 4 bolts right here. Pull that off, we'll drain the fluid out of the rear end, pull the third member out, send it over to Evan Moeller Racing, and we're gonna change the gear ratio from Secrets. How does this dang thing work? Oh, I guess it's on. Yo dudes, Nick here. So working here on the old T2 F-150, trying to get the thing finalized for the old Mint 400, and I'm gonna give you guys a little rundown on some panel work. We have the majority of the panels for this truck all built out. It's all tabbed up and everything like that, ready to go. But what we gotta do is we gotta get them up on the car and kind of do like a final fit and finish before we send everything out for powder coat. So we gotta make sure all the corners are bead rolled, all the edges are nice and smooth and fit the tubes well. You need just kind of a basic tools to get this job done. Just like a nice half round file, some tin snips. I use calipers to mark the line on the edge for when I'm bead rolling, a nice straight edge, some gloves so you don't yard sale your pretty hands. So now that we have all the panels fit and ready to go, we're gonna load them all up in the old Chase Lexus and take them out to ECP to get powder coated and make them look all pretty. And it all fits. Dang near a whole 6100 truck's worth of aluminum panels fits in the trunk of a 2004 GS 300. Where are we, Dad?
We're at ECP, East County Powder Coating.
Getting these panels powder coated, drop them off, get them all worked out, get going. Reverse. All right, so yeah, we got this hub on already. He's getting ready to put that hub together. If you look over here, this is a Camberg 3 1/4 hub with the bearing and the seal protector installed already. So today we're going to talk about bolt shanks and how to properly set up a bolt for the hole, so all the shanking on the bolt is correct and you're not shearing off bolts, and so you're not wallowing out holes. A certain shank length, the threads are pretty standard for whatever shank length you're getting. So sometimes you're gonna have to cut down the thread so you don't have a mile-long thread sticking out when you tighten down the nut. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and put this here, mark it up, take a Sharpie, mark it, and then we'll cut the excess threads off each bolt. The shank part, or the shoulder part of the bolt. And you want this to be perfectly from side to side through here. That way there's no shear load on the threads. So that beveled edge goes against this lip, slides in, and it locks it in nice and tight. Ideally what you want to happen is when you slide the bolt through, you want perfect shank length through here. Yo dog, do you know what you're doing over here? No. What you got going on here? Is that a Camberg hub wrench? Nick, how you doing on that safety wire job?
Freezing, dude. It's so cold out here.
It looks good though.
Yeah.
So that way now you can tighten the bolt more. You can turn it this way, but you can't go backwards. If you try and go backwards, it's going to pull on the bolt next to it due to the safety wire.
It'd be really bad if things like that just fell off.
Yeah, that's true. Then it just looks really cool.
It does.
You got a Sharpie somewhere? Yeah. I'm just here to ruin all the shots by making eye contact with the cameras. Probably the most important part of TIG welding from what we've learned, and we're by no means, as we say in everything, we're not experts in any of this stuff. This is just kind of how we've been doing things, and it seems to work all right, so we just keep doing it. But I think the most important part of TIG welding is making sure that your material is as clean as possible. So you want to take off all the coating, like when you have chromoly, you have like the oil coating and all that stuff. You want to make sure that's all clean. We chuck it up on our little bootleg lathe and hit it with some Scotch-Brite or emery cloth and knock the coating off, so that way you can get a nice clean TIG weld.
There you go.
What's that? Take a whole 1/4 inch off? All right, drop it down a little bit. Better?
Too high. Yeah, a bit too high.
How much? Okay.
You said a finger, dude, not a whole 2.
That is a finger. I got bigger fingers than you, dog.
Apparently.
So the reason we take a good amount of time here setting all this stuff up is just because when you're going to spend 10, 12, 13 hours in the truck, you want to make sure that everything you're working with and is around you is comfortable and easy on the eyes and easy to reach and all that stuff, because, you know, a tiny little bit of strain over an entire day in a race car ends up being a real pain in the butt. So definitely take our time to set the car up right, and then it'll be nice and comfortable to drive in.
Found the popcorn, but I can't find the tape measure. Like when people say, hey man, I want to build a truck, it should be more like, hey man, you should probably just buy a truck. This is too much work. Plate measurement, so the whole width of the whole housing. So I'll basically measure from this surface here to the same surface on the other side, from this surface here to this side of the splines inside the spool, and the same thing over there. So you have like your max and your max, and then what you do is you go talk to Evan. He knows a bunch of wizardry, but you'll figure out the length of your axle. Now you don't want your like stacked height, like the combined length of both the axles, to be this exactly. You want to make sure that there's, you know, about a 1/4 inch gap between them, because as unsimilar metals heat up and expand and stretch and get weird, if you don't have a little air gap there, what you'll end up happening is you end up pushing your hubcap out, and then your axle could fall off, or you could, you know, chew up some of the splines in here. So it's not rocket science, but you need to be pretty precise when you're making these measurements, or else you could have problems later on. And like I said, we're doing all these measurements, and we're gonna go tomorrow up to Evans, and fingers crossed, hopefully he has a set of used axles that we can use. If not, we're gonna have to order some, which is expensive and sucks.
We got a lot of work all finished up on this thing. We got all the panels and everything. They're out to ECP to be coated. We got the driver's side GPS mounted. We got the center console started. That'll house the Rugged Radio's intercom and the push button switches for the Motec. We got the Rugged air blower mounted. And what else? We started out with the fuel filler. We're waiting on some more material tomorrow. We'll finish that up. What else we got? Oh, the passenger side GPS is mounted, radio's mounted, and the Motec screen is mounted. Got the cab back off, and we started welding out all the body mounts for this thing. And then over on the F100, we got all the rear suspension out of this thing, and it's all getting sent out to ECP to get sandblasted, and then we'll coat it all and steel it. We got the steering rack out of the truck, and that'll get sent out to be serviced. And then Craig Hall is coming over on Friday, and we're going to cycle all the front suspension, and we're going to redesign a bump steer bracket. It's something that we wanted to do before Rage of the River, but unfortunately we just didn't have the time to do it. So he's going to come over here, we're going to finalize it, and get it out to a machine shop to have them machine it for us. So I'll show you guys how to cycle the front suspension on Friday, and how to check for bump steer and all that while he's here. So we're making some pretty good progress here. We've still got a lot to do on both trucks, but I don't think we should have an issue making it testing at the beginning of February. Perfect. Come on back. Just hang right here. Breaker 19. Come on back. For those that are wondering why we safety wire things, Nick, you want to explain why we safety wire stuff?
We'll keep you going. Popcorn, coffee. Popcorn, Taco Bell, and coffee.
Radio's going to be my lap here in a minute.
Team inspection.